Real Race Talk. It's the Revved Up Sports Show talking local, regional, and national action. Here's Bobby Chaffee and Rodney Rodriguez.
On Thursday, heat races and so forth, all of that's going to be happening. And then the big main events are going to be coming up on Saturday. All of that at Cotton Bowl Speedway. And when you get those cars, on Cotton Bowl Speedway on that big old place, yikes! That's pretty big. That's pretty big.
Yeah, and those little cars might be small in stature, but they are big in excitement and big in motor and big in speed when they go to Cotton Bowl.
Exactly. All right, let's go to the hotline for the second time tonight. We've got a huge event coming up this weekend at South Texas Race Ranch. One of the ones that I'm looking forward to. And here's our man. He's back on with us in honor of his dad. Dollar Coors Lights, all of that happening. Additional information on Facebook. Check out South Texas Race Ranch. It's going to be the Outlaw 34 coming up, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a family reunion happening in Corpus Christi. My man, Greg Carlucci Jr. How we doing, brother?
What's up, guys?
Hey, buddy. Thank you for doing this tonight. I know that you are working away right there. You're on duty taking care of all of us, so thank you so much. So talk about it, Greg. This is a big weekend and a very much deserved weekend for your dad. Just kind of talk about the build-up and how all this came together.
That's pretty cool. I mean, Owen got with me earlier in the season, actually before he put out the schedule, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about doing this for your dad." And I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome. You know, there's a ton of guys from this area that, you know, been around racing and contributed a lot to the racing, to the sport. And for them to do that for my dad, I thought, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Greg, I'm glad you were watching our show from Edna the other day. I got your message midway through when you heard me talking about the event. So even occasionally I will remember to say something smart and unique. It doesn't happen often, but when I announce, sometimes I'll do that. So you talk about the one of the things I was talking about there when you text me was that, you know, you guys are a staple of the racing community down there in Corpus. And I think that for the older fans in Corpus, remember all the names, the Hardcastles, the Carlucci's, the Micklinchecks, and all those. But I think that the newer fans, I think that they need to have, as bad as it sounds, they need to have a history lesson to see how much great racing history has happened down there in Corpus. I mean, because there's a hell of a lot of it. You've been part of it. You've experienced a lot of it. There's a lot of good racing action and a lot of good memories down there in Corpus Christi.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I grew up out there, so I saw it all. I saw all the big names and a lot of, you know, memorable races, a lot of good battles and a lot of good rivalries. And, you know, that was part of the excitement of the sport. And, you know, my dad was known as one of them guys. He was just a hard-nosed racer and went out there and, you know, he pretty much won at all costs. And he didn't make very many friends back then, but they just, that's the way I knew him. You know, he was going to go out there and he was going to race and he did it with, you know, little budget, but he just went out there and drove the wheels off the car.
And Greg, to me, isn't that the coolest part? I mean, because I say it time after time that the Corpus Christi to me really is the kind of the town in Texas that really gets it. I mean, because, you know, at one time there was pavement and dirt happening there, and hell, that's unheard of. But I kind of talk about that part. I mean, because it didn't matter the surface. I mean, you guys, I mean, this is what you did, and that's, you know, the Carlucci name. It's such a big deal, and I think this is going to, especially coming up after the last race that you know, the race ranch had. Man, I think you're going to blow this thing up, man.
Yeah, and thank you to you guys, man. I was watching from the wall in the pits, man, and you put on a good show up there in the announcer's booth, man. You keep the fans excited, and I think that's a big part of it too. Make it exciting for everybody out there.
Yes, sir.
But
I appreciate it.
You know, as far as when I think back from the late 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, there was not very many nights that either on an asphalt track or dirt track down here in Corpus anyway that 34 wasn't on the track, Carlucci wasn't on the track. So we've always been around racing. We've always tried to support it any way we can. And for them to give back this weekend, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, Greg, speaking of giving back, our wonderful staff that we have here and the wonderful Facebook comments, one of the questions is what exactly did your dad say to you after you flew across your hood and got your new nickname of the Flying Carlucci?
What were you thinking?
Of course. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Why didn't you just go around the car? When I still get a lot of questions about that night, and I gotta remind people that was 1993, and I was 17 years old. So, I knew it was coming, and it happened, and I do have a bit of a temper, and so and you guys were talking about how drivers handled things on the track back then, and that's the way I always saw it. Drivers took care of things. They took it in their own hands, and that was just part of the racing, culture back then. Is if you had a problem with somebody, you take it up, and you don't use your car to do it. You don't go tearing up people's equipment. You handled it in the pits, man to man, and so that was the way I was raised, and that's the way I did it.
Mm-hmm. So for you, I mean, with this weekend, I mean, have you? I know you've probably thought about it a lot of times about the weekend coming up, and here we are. We're a little ways down the road there since you lost your dad. But how have the emotions been for you leading up to this, and are you ready for this? Because I truly, Greg, think that on Saturday night, man, this is going to be. I mean, we talk about family reunions and all this stuff. I really think this is going to be it's going to be something that we hadn't seen in a while in Corpus. Are you ready for this? Because this is going to be massive.
Yeah, I think I am. We'll see Saturday night. I know it's going to be an emotional night, but man, all of the the build up to this thing and talking about my dad and it's really helped and sharing stories, on Facebook and all the comments and the feedback I've gotten. And it's just, it's pretty cool to bring it all to light and to put my dad out there, in the spotlight for all the things he's done for racing and everybody at the track, good or bad, there's stories about my dad. And, with all the bad and the fighting and all that, there was still a lot of people that he helped. He was always there to lend a hand, show him how to set up a car, give him some tips on driving. He'd go to people's houses and fix their cars for them. Just whatever he had to do to help people get their cars on the track. And so for Owen and South Texas Race Ranch and everybody out there to do this for my dad, it's really pretty cool. And I can't wait to see a good night of racing.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Greg, I think we might have asked you this before, but I know this weekend's about your dad, but you've got 3 generations of racers in the family. Do you have as much fun connecting with Ryan as you had connecting with your dad when you guys were both racing? I know I don't think you've had a chance to race against Ryan on the track, but I mean, do you still feel that connection? Is it still as cool as it was?
Yeah, it really is, and to be honest with you, that's what really drives me to keep racing, now. With the cost of everything and racing the way it is now, just to be able to do it with my son and have him out there and get his cars ready and see him out there driving, now I know how my dad felt watching me. So it's cool. I have just as much fun. I have just as much pride, in a good run watching him race, as I do, if I was behind the wheel. So definitely, it's still a family thing, and we enjoy doing it together. And, I wish my dad was here to be there with us, but I know he's going to be watching.
That's right. And I know, Greg, kind of lastly right here, I posted on one of those pics right there that you had posted, and I love that, with you guys, building a race car out in the driveway and doing all this stuff and getting on the racetrack and doing all the things that you've been able to do and that your dad did. But isn't that really the coolest part, the memories, a lot of the not on the track stuff? It's the long nights. It's the, maybe having a cold beer or two and sitting out there and just doing this as a family, doing it in the driveway, doing it wherever. Isn't that really what this sport's all about?
Absolutely. That's a lot of my favorite memories. Back then, back then, there were people interested in working on cars. And I remember, man, there would be 10, 12 guys at the house. And, it was a party every night working on the race car. And it was just, something everybody enjoyed doing. Now there's so much more to do. It's hard to get guys that, want to come and work on cars and live and breathe race cars. But back then, that's just the way it was. And whenever something needed to be done to the car, all the guys would show up and friends would show up, family would show up, and they would just get it done.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, so, Greg, what do you think of them shirts, man, that ODS made for that event, man? Those things look pretty slick. I mean, you're not going to buy them all, are you? You're going to let some of us other people buy a couple of those Outlaw 34 commemorative T-shirts, right?
I've got to admit, I did buy more than one. I go through T-shirts like underwear, but I want to have some backups, and I want to have one that I can preserve, and keep forever. So I did buy a few of them, but those shirts really did come out awesome.
Yeah.
And did you guys get one?
I've got one in the hopper. I've got one put away. Yeah. So yeah, and I will wear it proudly on Saturday night. I'm looking forward to being over there. That's going to be a lot of fun with you guys.
You've got to wear your shirt and you've got to put your hat on backwards. You know that, right?
That's and I may even have a Coors Light. They're going to be $1.
There you go.
So, be $1. Yeah, you can't go wrong with the Rocky Mountain Kool-Aid for $1.
Yeah. So I definitely think that I'm going to do that. Greg, man, again, thank you for jumping on here again. I know you're at the station, you're on duty there, so I appreciate you doing that, man. Congratulations on getting this done. It's going to be such a great night to honor just not only a great man but a great family, because you guys mean so much to everything that's always happened in Corpus. Does not matter the damn, you guys are the best example. Doesn't matter the damn surface. You just race, and you're just in this sport, and I think that's so important. I can't wait to get down there Saturday.
Well, thank you, guys. I thank you, for thinking of us, putting us on the show, and again, thank you to Owen and everybody out the South Texas Race Ranch. It's going to be a good night. I think I'm just hoping for a great race, and if everything goes right, Ryan's going to be driving the car in the 34 race. So if everything goes right, we're going to be celebrating with a Coors Light in Victory Lane.
Damn, how great would that be? That would be so cool.
That'd be awesome.
So cool.
And I want to remind everybody, Owen put out a badass purse for this thing, and I've got a bunch of money that's been added to the purse. And my thing is, I want everybody in the top 10, even the top 15, to go home with a nice check. So bring them cars down and let's do it.
That's right. 34 laps for the factory stocks. It's going to be great, dude. We'll see you here in just a few days, man. Thank you for everything, and be well, brother. So proud of this.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you Saturday.
You bet, man. Take care.
All righty.
You bet. Here's Greg Carlucci Jr. And, we've got it pulled up right there. I mean, $1,340 to win right there in the factory stocks. And it's, I think this is, Bobby, this is going to be a lot of fun. I really think that this is truly going to be, obviously it's a celebration of life, celebration of a good dude and a great family, but this somebody's going to turn into a party. I've got a funny feeling that this one right here is going to be, we always talk about the old days, it's, we used to, race and get over here and do all this other stuff. I think that this may be the one that kind of feels a little bit like those
old
days.
School. Old